Hey guys, so today I've made a Christmas scene with some baubles and a candle and some holly leaves and some poinsettas, and everything I put inside of a cookie jar. This is kind of an antique cookie jar. It belonged to my grandfather. So the main composition is a snake composition, or kind of like a zigzag, where all of the elements in the painting lead your eye around the canvas, so you can follow the tinsel in that snake shape. Also, the baubles make a zigzag pattern, and even up into the flower arrangement, you could see the pine cones are kind of going in that zigzag pattern across with the poinsettas. So this composition just leads your eye around the canvas, and it makes for a more interesting piece. So I had to get some extra reference photos for the poinsettas because the ones that I got from the Dollar Tree were all kind of smashed. I couldn't tell what the petals were shaped like, and also there's a lot of glitter in the center, so I wanted to understand the anatomy, so I looked at these photos to see. So this is actually a tropical plant, and the red leaves are actually not petals of a flower. They're actually a part of the leaves. They just have more of that red pigment, which is kind of interesting. If you look at them up close, they're really beautiful red leaves, and the flowers are actually in the center of the poinsettia. They're like little tiny buds. So right here I'm adding in some berries. So here I'm just going in and putting in my darkest darks on this cookie jar back here, and I'm using the same color throughout the painting for the pine cones and all of the shadows and dark areas. I'm going back into these poinsettas and trying to add more depth with some darker shades of red, trying to darken up this cookie jar and add some more definition to the berries, adding some little berries into the holly around the candle, trying to round out this bauble that's in the cookie jar too, and trying to add in some more highlights on this candle. And this candle was kind of challenging. It has several tones. It's not all the same color candle. And just going in and trying to find all these different shades. Just picking out some more highlights and shadow within this poinsettia. Poinsettias have a lot of different layers in these leaves, a lot of different tiers. And I remember the first time I looked really closely at a poinsettia in my office at work, and I was pretty amazed to see that it was a bunch of leaves all the way through, and what looked like flowers from a distance were actually more leaves. They're really beautiful red velvet looking leaves. So here I'm just going in trying to pick out some shapes in these baubles that are reflecting from the room. There's the table and the lights in the background. Just trying to give more definition to these baubles here. So I try to work around the painting all at once. If I'm using a red, then I look at the painting as a whole and try to find all the places where I can use the same red. Or likewise, if I'm using green, then I look all around the painting and see all the spots of green. So I'm really just going around the painting and trying to refine everything and trying to make the highlights on this candle a lot more dramatic. Try to make it look like it's glowing. Here I'm just roughly trying to go in and suggest these pine cone. I don't know what these are called really, but they're like little pine cone petals, I guess. Okay, so I just paused to look it up. So they're not called pine cone petals, they're called scales. Good to know. So I was looking at the final version of this painting compared to the pine cones that I did earlier. And sometimes you can take your refining a little too far, and I actually kind of like some of the earlier aspects of the pine cones and how I handled them. They're a little bit more painterly and not so refined. It's really easy to overwork your painting if you're not careful. I feel like these pine cones have a lot of character. I like how they're all kind of different shades of brown. Some of them more red than others. And this pine cone, I'm just suggesting the scales here, as we just found out they're called. And this one was a lot more painterly to begin with, and I go back and refine this one a lot and shave it down. And now I'm just working on the holly leaves around the candle. Just kidding, now I'm working on the table, trying to put in that table color and painting around everything. And this canvas is toned with a burnt umber. And sometimes I speed up sections of my painting a little bit too quickly, and it's hard to do this voiceover when I'm talking about one thing, then I start painting another thing. Sorry about that, guys. So now I'm just going in around this table and putting in some shadows on the wall, cutting in around the poinsettas, trying to add some contrasting values. And I really like this wall color. And lately I've been experimenting with blurred edges, or I guess they call it lost and found edges, and sort of where the background wall color bleeds into the table color and you can't tell where one ends and one begins, and I like that effect. Yeah, so I've been learning a lot about soft and hard edges and when you shouldn't use those in your painting, and definitely where your wall meets your table, it's better to have a softer edge, a nice transition there, nothing harsh. I guess it's all about preference, but personally I think the paintings that I like are ones that are like that, where you can't see the edge of the table in the background, or if you see it, it's not real noticeable. It's not a very harsh straight line. But you know, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, so if you like to have a hard edge in the back, you can certainly do that. So this tinsel, garland, whatever you would call it, it has some shading in the core of it, and I was trying to put that in and then go over it so that maybe you can see some of that peeking through. And I ended up getting a stiff bristle hog hair brush to go back over this with lighter shades of yellow, probably white mixed with I would say yellow ochre, and just to create that texture. This tinsel was kind of confusing to paint. Of course, there are millions of strands of hair and I didn't want to do all of them, so I'm just trying to suggest little hairs with the hog hair bristle brush. So the holly around the base of the candle was pretty fun to paint because I just suggested the little spiky holly leaves with this highlight color, which was green with a little bit of white, and I think it reads pretty well, like, you know, spiky pointed holly leaves. So I was pretty happy with that. And I brought that highlight color into these green baubles as well. So I just look around the painting and try to see where I can use the same color on my palette before it dries out, like with this green here, because acrylics dry pretty quickly. Also, I don't like to waste paint. So here I'm just adding the little tips on the baubles where you can put a hook on. I don't know what that piece is called. And again, going back into these poinsettas, trying to add different shades of red, and also using the red on my baubles because I don't want to waste any paint. Paint's expensive. So something kind of funny about these baubles is when I put the highlights on them, a lot of them ended up looking like they had eyeballs. It looked like eyes and a mouth, like it's smiling, especially this silver bauble. And also when I go back later and put highlights on the berries, I have 2 light sources set up, and so it looks like there's 2 eyes, and so if you look around the painting, there's eyeballs looking at you from every angle. It's just kind of funny. So this silver bauble, I feel like he's living his best life. He looks really happy. If you think he looks happy, let me know in the comment section. So here I'm going in and putting in the actual flowers of the poinsettia, which are in the center. And I used a lime green and some little red highlights. And just kidding, I'm actually going back into the holly leaves. Nope, now I'm going back into these berries over here. Sorry, I sped this up too quickly in some places. Wow, I'm really jumping around this painting, aren't I? It's hard to keep up with this voiceover. Haha, paint fast, people. Okay guys, the video is coming to an end. I really wanted to share this beautiful day with you, and I got tired of filming the whole process, so I finished up the painting off camera, just added a few little finishing touches, not too much from how you saw it the last time, just little things that were bothering me about the painting. And anyway, I hope you like this painting, and I hope everybody has a Merry Christmas or whatever you celebrate. Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa. Anyways, I hope you liked the video, and if you haven't already, please like and subscribe. Thanks!